They think they have you figured out, that you're predictable, that you'll react the way they expect. But you won't. Because while they're focused on the present, you're already 10 steps ahead. This isn't about luck. This isn't about IQ. This is about strategy, the ability to anticipate, outmaneuver, and dominate every situation before it even begins. The difference between those who win and those who follow is not intelligence, it's foresight. A master strategist sees the game before it unfolds, while others make impulsive moves, hoping for the best. You already know the outcome before the first move is played. This is how wars are won, how power is maintained, how control is taken, without force, without effort, without the other side even realizing it. In this video, you'll learn how to think like a grandmaster, how to manipulate perception, control narratives, and make people act without realizing it. By the end of this, you will see the world differently. Every conversation, every interaction, every situation, you will always be ahead. This is the art of mind games, and once you master it, you will never be caught off guard again. If you're ready to step into the world of psychological dominance, let's begin. The game begins now. The psychology of staying ahead. Most people move through life playing checkers, reacting, making impulsive moves, hoping for the best. But the real winners, they play chess. Every move is intentional. Every reaction is anticipated. Every outcome is already accounted for. Predictive thinking, the power of pattern recognition. The key to staying ahead isn't about guessing. It's about recognizing patterns before anyone else does. Human behavior is predictable. People follow habits, routines, emotional triggers, and if you pay attention, you'll start to see the patterns that control them. A chess grandmaster doesn't just think about the next move. They plan 5, 10, 20 moves ahead because they've seen the patterns before. They know that a certain opening leads to a specific reaction. They already know how the game will unfold. Now, what if you could do the same thing in real life? Watch people. Observe how they react under stress, how they respond to praise, how they make decisions. Keep a mind journal. Write down patterns you notice in conversations, body language, and choices. Over time, you'll start predicting people's actions before they even make them. And once you can predict someone, you can control them. The illusion of choice, controlling outcomes before they happen. Most people believe they make their own choices, that they act out of free will. But the truth? Their decisions can be shaped if you understand the psychology behind them. Subtle suggestions, limited options, controlled environments, these are the tools of a master strategist. Ever noticed how the best negotiators never give you an open-ended choice? Instead of asking, "What do you want to do?" they say, "Do you prefer option A or option B?" Either way, they win. This is the illusion of choice. When you make someone feel like they're in control, when in reality you've already decided the outcome for them. A powerful technique to apply this is the yes ladder. Start by getting someone to agree to small things, tiny, harmless yes answers. Over time, this builds a pattern where saying yes becomes automatic. Then, when you present the real request, they comply without hesitation. This is how businesses sell products, how leaders influence decisions, how manipulators get what they want without resistance. But there's a problem. If people feel like they're being controlled, they resist. And that's why the next principle is crucial. Psychological reactance. Why people resist being controlled. The moment people feel forced into something, their instinct is to push back. Tell someone they have to do something, and suddenly they don't want to do it anymore. This is called psychological reactance, the mind's automatic rebellion against perceived control. But what if you could use that against them? Instead of telling someone what you want them to do, suggest the opposite. Make them feel like it was their idea all along. Want someone to chase you? Distance yourself? Want someone to prove themselves? Doubt them? Want someone to take action? Tell them they probably won't. Reverse psychology works because people hate being predictable. The moment they think you expect them to fail, they'll fight to prove you wrong. Great strategists don't force people to comply. They create conditions where people want to comply. And when you master this, you'll never have to manipulate, force, or demand anything again. Now that you understand the psychology, let's talk about how to apply it in real life. The 4 strategies to always stay 10 steps ahead. Staying ahead isn't about reacting faster, it's about making sure others are always reacting to you. Masters of strategy don't just think about their next move. They control the entire playing field. They set traps. They create illusions. They manipulate perception. These are the 4 core strategies that will keep you 10 steps ahead, every time. The strategic silence. Let them reveal their hand first. Most people talk too much. They reveal their intentions, their weaknesses, their emotions. The more they talk, the more they expose themselves, and the more you listen, the more power you gain. Silence is your weapon. It makes people uncomfortable. It forces them to fill the gap, and in doing so, they give away information they never meant to reveal. In negotiations, the person who speaks less wins. In confrontations, the one who stays calm holds control. In relationships, the one who withholds reactions has the upper hand. A powerful way to apply this is the pause technique. Whenever someone asks you a question, pause for 3 seconds before responding. Watch how they react. The silence forces them to fill the space, often revealing what they truly think. Control your words, control the game. The misdirection tactic. Always stay unpredictable. Predictability is weakness. If people can anticipate your next move, they can counter it, block it, or manipulate it. Think of elite fighters, chess grandmasters, and high-level strategists. They all have one thing in common. They never move exactly how you expect. A calculated delay, a sudden change in approach, or a misleading action, all designed to throw the opponent off balance. This is where the false trail strategy comes in. Occasionally, drop misleading hints about your intentions, then execute something completely different. Example: if you're in a competitive environment, make it seem like you're going for one goal, then pivot at the last moment. This keeps others constantly guessing and unable to preemptively block your moves. The more unpredictable you are, the harder you are to control. The power of psychological triggers, making people act without realizing it. People like to think they act based on logic, but the truth? Most decisions are emotional. There are 3 psychological triggers that influence behavior without people even realizing it: scarcity, reciprocity, and social proof. Scarcity. People want what they think they can't have. The moment something becomes rare, its perceived value skyrockets. A person who is always available is taken for granted. A person who disappears is suddenly in demand. Reciprocity. People feel obligated to return favors. Give someone a small, unexpected gift. Watch how they start treating you differently. Even if they don't realize it, their subconscious mind will push them to balance the scales. Social proof. People follow the crowd. If they see you as valuable to others, they'll automatically assign you more value. This is why high-status individuals don't need to chase. They are chased. To apply these in everyday life, use time scarcity. When someone hesitates on a decision, create urgency. This opportunity won't be available forever. Watch how they suddenly act without hesitation. The best part? They'll believe it was their choice all along. Frame control. Whoever controls the frame controls the reality. Reality isn't what it is, it's what people perceive it to be. In every conversation, every situation, there's a dominant frame, the perspective that controls how everything is interpreted. If someone says, "You're being defensive," and you argue, you've already lost. They framed the interaction, and now you're reacting. But if you control the frame, you control the reality. This is where reframing becomes a powerful tool. When someone makes a statement, don't accept it. Reframe it in a way that benefits you. Example: if someone says, "You're too quiet," instead of defending yourself, reframe, "I prefer to observe before I speak. That's how I stay ahead." Now you're no longer on the defensive. You've taken control of the frame and flipped the power dynamic. Whoever dictates the perception dictates the outcome. Now that you understand these 4 strategies, it's time to see them in action. How to apply mind games in any situation. Knowing the tactics is one thing, but applying them in real life, that's where the real power lies. These strategies aren't just theory. They work in business, social dynamics, and relationships. Master them, and you'll always be 10 steps ahead. Step 1. Negotiations and business. Controlling the deal without them knowing. In any negotiation, the person who needs the deal less has the power. But here's the secret. You don't actually need to be in control. You just need them to believe you are. The power of silence. Most people hate silence. They feel the need to fill the gap. But if you master the ability to pause and let the other person speak first, they will always reveal more than they should. In high-stakes deals, silence creates pressure. The other party will over-explain, make unnecessary concessions, and show their true position. The takeaway strategy. Want to make something instantly more valuable? Act as if you're willing to walk away. When you hesitate, when you show resistance, people start fearing they'll lose the opportunity. Suddenly, they'll be the ones trying to close the deal. Use this technique in job offers, contract negotiations, or even daily business interactions. Always make them think they're the ones chasing you. Example: the CEO gambit. A company is trying to close a major deal. The CEO listens carefully, barely speaks, and only responds with short, calculated words. As negotiations drag on, the other side, anxious to seal the agreement, starts offering better terms without even being asked. This happens because silence and perceived indifference create a psychological need to win the deal. Master these techniques, and you'll never be on the losing end of a negotiation again. Step 2. Social dynamics. Becoming the one people follow. In any social group, power isn't given, it's taken. People naturally follow those who seem like they know what they're doing, even when they don't. The confidence illusion. Confidence isn't about what you say, it's about how you say it. Lower your voice at the end of sentences to sound more authoritative. Hold eye contact a second longer than expected. Move deliberately as if every action is intentional. The echo effect, making people feel understood. People trust and follow those who make them feel heard. One of the simplest yet most effective social hacks is the echo effect. Subtly repeat the last few words someone says in a conversation. Example, if someone says, "I've been working really hard on this project," you respond with, "Working really hard, huh?" It sounds simple, but psychologically, it makes them feel deeply understood, and people gravitate toward those who get them. Controlling social frames. Every interaction has an invisible hierarchy. Either you're setting the tone or you're following someone else's. Frame control is about subtly shifting conversations in your favor. Example: if someone tries to put you on the defensive, them, "Why are you so quiet?" You, "I only speak when I have something valuable to say." If someone tries to show dominance, them, "You think you're smarter than me?" You, "I think intelligence is about knowing what actually matters." These subtle shifts change the entire dynamic without needing conflict. Become the one who frames conversations, and you'll always be seen as the leader. Step 3. Relationships. How to maintain the upper hand without playing games. Attraction isn't about looks, it's about power dynamics. The moment you start chasing, they start losing interest. But when you become the one they can never fully have, they will always want more. The law of scarcity. People desire what they feel they can't fully possess. If you're always available, your perceived value drops. But when you remain just out of reach, you become an obsession. The investment principle, making them chase. The more effort someone puts into something, the more they value it. Give just enough to keep them engaged, but always make them work a little more to earn your attention. Example, the silent frame shift. Instead of chasing, subtly shift the frame of the relationship. Instead of saying, "Do you still like me?" say, "What do you bring to my life?" Instead of saying, "Why aren't you texting me?" say, "I only give my energy to people who genuinely add value." This simple shift makes people subconsciously seek your validation instead of the other way around. Emotional detachment, the ultimate power move. Attraction fades when someone feels they have full control over you. But when you remain emotionally centered, when they can't read you completely, you become an enigma they can't stop thinking about. This isn't manipulation. It's understanding how human nature works. People crave what they can't fully possess. Master this, and you'll never be the one left chasing. But there's one more mind game, the most powerful of all. The ultimate mind game, making them think. It was their idea. The most powerful move isn't forcing someone to do what you want, it's making them believe it was their idea all along. This is how the smartest leaders gain influence, how master negotiators close deals, and how true strategists control the game without ever looking like they're playing it. The Trojan horse technique, planting the idea in their mind. People resist direct orders. The moment they sense control, they fight back. But if they think an idea is their own, they'll defend it with everything they have. So, how do you make that happen? You don't force the idea. You introduce it subtly, let it take root, and then step back while they convince themselves. Example: instead of saying, "You should leave that toxic relationship," say this instead: "I don't know. Something feels off." but maybe I'm wrong. What do you think? Now, their brain starts searching for reasons why something feels off. Days later, when they finally decide to leave, they believe it was entirely their choice. Business application. A skilled negotiator never tells a client what to pick. Instead, they say, "Many successful companies in your industry have found this approach works best for them, but it depends on your goals." No pressure, no command. Just a planted thought that will grow until they fully own it. You never have to force someone to do something if you make them believe it was their decision. The fear of missing out, making people chase you. People fear losing opportunities more than they value gaining them. It's why they rush to buy limited edition products, why they fight for exclusivity, why they regret things they didn't do more than things they did. And that fear, it makes them act. Example in relationships. You don't say, "I want to see you more." Instead, you say, "I don't usually have much free time, but I do value good company." Now, instead of you chasing them, they start positioning themselves as the kind of person who deserves your time. Example in social influence. You don't beg people to follow you. You make them feel like they're missing out on something rare. That's why elite groups, luxury brands, and high-status individuals never try to convince others of their value. They make others work for access. The moment people think they're about to lose something is the moment they start chasing it. The power of uncertainty, keeping people hooked. What happens when a TV show ends on a cliffhanger? Your mind fixates on it. You replay every detail. You crave the resolution. Now apply that same effect to human psychology. If someone always knows where they stand with you, they stop thinking about you. But if they're never completely sure, you'll live in their mind rent-free. How to create obsession through uncertainty. In conversations, pause before responding. Let them lean in. Make them wait just a little longer than expected. In relationships, never be fully predictable. Keep a slight air of mystery. Let them wonder what's on your mind. In power and influence, say less than expected. People respect the words of those who don't reveal everything too soon. Example, the silent leader effect. Powerful figures in a room don't rush to speak. They let others reveal themselves first. And when they finally do say something, every word carries weight. Uncertainty isn't weakness. It's the ultimate tool for keeping people locked onto you. Master these strategies, and you'll never have to chase or persuade anyone again. You'll always be 10 steps ahead. If you're ready to take your mindset to the next level, subscribe now. And remember, a king never shows his next move until it's too late.